this is just me, but I am so old school and traditional that I strongly believe that when you decide to get married, I don't think that is a coincidence. I never thought people got married was a coincidence or just something that they just looked up and did. Because most of the time that when someone decides to do that, you're deciding to live life with that person. So that's almost a commitment. So when you make those commitments in front of a higher power, I am the one that I'm for it. I hate to see couples break up. I hate to see couples get divorced. I hate for anybody to go through it, because at the end of the day, the one thing that I always value is the fact that if you can get to a point to where you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, all right, and then that's special. And one thing that I think people forget, and actually they don't really truly understand, is that once you marry somebody, that is your best friend. That's your best friend.
Not all the time.
For most part, no. Let me tell you why.
You tell your best friend every single thing. There's certain stuff you don't.
Not everything. You don't tell your best friend.
Let me tell you why.
Your spouse is not your best friend.
Okay. Like,
let me tell you why.
ideally, you would want that, but it's
okay.
I think people say that because that's the right thing to say.
All right, but no, let me tell you why though. Let me tell you why my view behind that. No, you might, I get it. You're not gonna tell them every little single thing. But the one thing where I say, well, they're like your best friend, okay? They're like your best friend.
Well,
you know they shouldn't be, but they're like your best friend. And when I say that, it's because, think about this. When your best friend makes you upset, it hurts 10 times more than what it do than the next person, right?
Of course.
Right. So when your spouse makes you upset, it hurts just as much as your best friend do. We are arguing like best friends instead of remembering at the end of the day, you're my spouse. You're the one that I chose to promise to love, hold, protect, honor. Sickness, health, better, awesome. So if this is a bad moment, this is when what we sat there and talked about and promised to do is when now we need to focus more on getting it done.
Your spouse ain't your best friend.
But
your spouse is not your best friend, because honestly, I've been in situations, not even a spouse, but a relationship where you and your friend, y'all share. It's on a totally different level.
Not
and where
every friend knows everything about you.
When I've actually been in a situation where a friend and I have fallen out, or I lost a friend, it hurt way worse than any relationship that I've ever had. Like, seriously. You think about like your friend or whatever, and especially like there are certain things that's just y'all thing that you and your spouse won't, or you and your significant other won't do, or some of that. So for me, the bonds have always been way stronger than anything and that's even with a female friend or a male friend, like just like a friend in general. I was in a situation before where I never physically cheated, but the argument was, oh, but you talking to this person, but I never physically done anything, and we didn't even allude to sex.
Here's the problem.
But there was a connection.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? So I mean this. I want to ask you this first. The same conversations that you had with that other person and the things you talked about, can you go back and tell your spouse exactly what you talked about?
Yeah, because it wasn't
exactly what you said.
And exactly what you said. Like, play this. If it was guess what?
I'm trying to think back to this particular instance.
No, but guess what? The fact that you just made that face right there, the answer is no. The answer is no.
I actually consider this. I'm telling you, because when we go back and forth, like, what do you consider cheating? Like, cheating, we talked about that before. Like, anything that you can come to me for that you're going to somebody else for, that's cheating for me. So definitely, we could have had a conversation. We could have done that. But in certain situations, there are things, and I guess barriers up that you feel like you can't talk to them about this, or can't say this, and you just like, oh, like I'll tell this friend.
Let me jump in real quick too on that note. You can have like, okay, say you have a best friend from way back in the day. You hold a certain standard to a spouse than you do a best friend. So you can be 1000% vulnerable with your best friend, and it doesn't change your relationship because they don't have to have a certain standard that your spouse has to have. So you can have like a friend from elementary school, and that friend has like never hurt you, never crossed you, and then you can have a spouse that like did some stuff to you,
right? That
your best friend would never do.
Yeah. Okay, so let's scratch best friend.
Your best
and
friend
shout
can
out and shout out to Miss Tina E of Hits 92.3 Dempster's Real Radio. She actually chimed in, and I will agree with that to a certain extent, but I will change the word best to better.
better friend.
Your
They're
spouse
supposed
should
to
be
be
your
a
better friend than your best friend.